There's something pained about that. Like, it's almost like a ray of hope that instantly fades. So the chord progression in the chorus, fairly simple but so effective. That drop down to the G minor just gives me pure chills. Drum fills, and then we get the A major over the D. Down to that G minor. And work our way up to the B flat. Back to the D minor. I love the sort of unrelenting repetitiveness in this song that, you know, IHSAHN's style has changed so much throughout the years. I mean, he's really crafted this completely unique. I mean, IHSAHN really is one of my top artists of all time. I could wax lyrical just about IHSAHN, never mind talk about one of his songs. I could just turn this into like a complete gush fest because the guy is a genius, let's be honest. But his style has changed so much. I will probably go back into some of the earlier stuff because I really would like to do some of the Emperor songs and even the earlier stuff, which is closer related to Emperor, lots of the fast blast beats and stuff like that. But this is, and all those intricate guitar parts, and harmonies and counter melodies and counter melodies and really sophisticated, complex, almost classical sort of arrangements in a metal sort of genre. There's a brutal simplicity about this. It's very different from the majority of his other songs. So, don't know if it's completely representative of his style, but if you're getting anything about this that clicks with you, definitely go and check his music. You will be pleasantly surprised. The guy knows what he's doing. Hi folks, welcome back. Hope everybody's keeping well. Today we're looking at Celestial Violence by IHSAHN. So quick disclaimer before we get going, this is not a reaction. I've heard this song before. In fact, I've been a big IHSAHN fan for a long time, since way back, and this CD dates from way back then, and all the sort of subsequent Emperor anthems actually is still one of my favorite albums ever. I remember getting 9 Equilibrium for Christmas one year when I was a teenager. I was probably in fact, it was the year that came out, so 99, I'd have been 15. That was a good Christmas. And good Christmas themed album, and then Prometheus, of course, afterwards. After Prometheus, as far as I remember, Emperor disbanded or stopped releasing stuff around then. I had no idea that he had continued into a solo project until many years later. At the time that Arctis came out, which is 2016 according to Wikipedia, I was already listening to him because I remember this album. I remember the hype of this album being dropped. So that's 6 years ago now, and it would have been probably a few years, 3 or 4 years before that I had been listening to I was going to say Leprous. There's a reason for that. To IHSAHN. So I'd sort of worked my way back. I think possibly either the album after or Das Sellenbrechen. It was one of those two that was his current album whenever I sort of started discovering his solo work and then went backwards. So yeah, the reason why, there's so much of his work that I could have chosen anything really, but the reason why I've chosen Celestial Violence to do is because of the connection with Einar Solberg, and I have done a couple of Leprous videos on the channel as well, so you might want to check those out if you haven't seen them. And it was also around this time that I got turned on to the sort of connection between Einar and IHSAHN, which, if I'm not mistaken, was through IHSAHN's wife, who is Einar's sister. Is that right? I think that's what it's in my head anyway, so please correct me if I'm wrong. And so there's a musical connection. I think they've worked together or toured together or whatever on different occasions. And I've been listening to Leprous around the same sort of time, so it was a pleasant surprise to hear Einar's voice on this song. Incredible performance, as I'm sure you'll agree if you haven't heard it, and if you have heard it, you'll also agree. If you don't agree, you need to get your ears cleaned out. So this analysis breakdown, what have you, is unscripted. We'll see what happens. So far, this format seems to work. Just listen to the song. It sort of triggers memories, different thoughts I might have had at the time I listened. I'll get new impressions of it now that I'm in my analytical mode, now that the camera's on. According to Wikipedia, this is the 6th studio album by progressive metal artist IHSAHN. The album was released on the 8th of April 2016 through Candlelight track chords. That's it. Don't give us anything else apart from a track listing. Brilliant. There's a lot of tracks on here I like. In fact, I like them all, but it's close to doing Until I Too Dissolve. I might do one on that at some point. That gives me big Jake Ely 80s Aussie vibes. It's like a Bark at the Moon. You know, it's like a Norwegian black metal tinged 80s hair metal kind of vibes of Aussie when he was in this Bark at the Moon phase, you know. So I might do that. But this one here has a very sort of darker, more melancholic vibe, which is more my bag. If you happen to like this video, guys, please do like and subscribe. Consider supporting me on Patreon, joining the cool kids over there. You can also support me actually by checking out my music on Bandcamp, or heading over to Buy Me a Coffee if you want to support the channel if you enjoy this stuff. So there's all the salesman pitch out of the way, which is extremely awkward. I really need to make a new video so I don't have to get on my knees every time I press start on the camera, because I die a little every time inside. But it needs said, otherwise people don't know. Not everybody reads the comment box or the description box. Right, let's get going, for Christ's sake.
Stay, and I will turn these unforgiving words into a star. Stay, this scenery would change if we could watch it from afar. Pain, like icons of our suffering, distill the works of art. Pain, a sting of life to bind us to these heavens torn apart.
Yes. Resonation. It resonates so deeply. Oh, yes. Getting into a bath of misery. Love it. So we're in D minor. We get this theme. It's interesting that, you know, it starts off with this sort of delicate piano on top, up high. And then it seems to work its way down lower and lower as Einar comes in. You notice we're hearing these bass notes and stuff. And then when we get this sort of bum bum ba da dum bum bum acoustic guitar that comes in, because it's sort of taken this sort of range that the piano and keyboards had been in, we bring keyboard parts back up again. So it was an interesting little thought. I don't remember having that thought before when I listened. Before. So making space for the acoustic guitar so that we don't clash the themes, that we can keep that keyboard theme in there just by shifting it up an octave. Might seem like a basic thing, and like I say, something that could pass you by, but from the sort of analytical approach to the composition, makes total sense with mixing and so on like that to make space. Those strings, that sort of like nails down a blackboard, pure misery. Love it. And then like real angst and heartache and all those sort of connotations through the string section. I can't tell at this stage whether that's IHSAHN and his plugins, because I know he does a lot of the production at home. It sounds like real strings to me. I don't know. They don't sound synthetic. I don't know whether he's got a string ensemble or whatever to do this. They sound so real. If they're not, then obviously they're sampled and they're controlled impeccably. So this harmony, something I do like about it is the fact that they play about a little bit with the major minor tonality in the D minor. You do hear it moving from D minor to D major at the end of the phrase and then back to the minor. So this is something that's not all that common, with major minor in the home tonic key. It's common that we get, if we're in a major key, we go to minor, but a different key. Like say G major, E minor. That's common all the time. Or in this case it would be D major to B minor, but D minor. Anyway, kind of interesting, I'll point it out. Haven't quite worked the riff out yet, but sort of by ear. Got this minor third and it descends, which would be the A major chord, which would be the fifth or the dominant key, D minor to A major, but I think he keeps the root note there, the D. So I think later on we do get the raised seventh, so it's an A major chord with the C sharp bass. Again, more dissonance and pain, more pain. Listen to the ambience in that. Into the major, the F sharp, back to the F natural, start of the bar. Now we do get that same chord a lot, so it can be difficult if you haven't heard this song before to figure out where the beat is, but it does start on the first beat of the bar. Something like that. Into the major, minor, and then we start again. There's the C sharp, B flat. Oh,
Stay.
lower range, down an octave in the piano. Now the strings are up actually.
Turned his unforgiving words into a star.
There's a counter melody on the strings as well, which is interesting. We follow that.
This scenery would change if we could watch it from.
The more I listen to it, I'm more inclined to say that it is a sample of a string, the way they're moving from note to note. It doesn't sound just that organic.
This
Could be wrong, of course, but that's
scenery would
inclined to guess.
change if we could watch it from afar.
Lovely frailty to the vocal.
Pain.
Guitar, piano up. Now this,
I could.
just got to keep it real right now. I love the song, of course. This is something I hope doesn't upset anybody. The thing I'm reminded the most about whenever I hear the bum bum ba da dum bum bum bum, it kind of makes me think, how can I say this without offending everybody and then smashing the dislike button? There's something about that syncopation that reminds me of like 90s trance music. Yes. I don't know if that's somehow being an influence. Now I know IHSAHN has wildly eclectic musical tastes, as I do myself, which is why I'm even commenting on that. I'm not a big 90s trance guy. A couple of songs in there I don't mind though, and that's maybe just because of the time. So it's possible that even if it's not sort of like an overt conscious effort to be like, oh, I wonder, could we take this sort of upbeat dun, 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 and apply it to like sort of like dark ambient metal, you know? I don't know. Or it could be completely accidental. I could be completely off in terms of where it's come from, but it always reminds me of that when I hear this. Dun, dun, dun. It helps dissipate that thought whenever the drums come in later because it doesn't have the hi-hat beat. But I'm not saying in any sort of derogatory sense at all. So I hope you guys can take it well. We're all adults here.
From afar, pain.
It does add this sort of
icons of
nervous
our
energy, doesn't
suffering.
it? Because before that, it's all sort of ethereal and dreamlike, you know, and so to have this sort of jarring syncopated rhythm on the acoustic guitar, it adds tension and nervousness.
Like icons of our suffering, distilled to works of art. Pain, a sting of life to bind us to these heavens torn apart.
Textural rumblings, here we go, face melting. The music is violent. Shrieking guitars up high. The depth. Pretty sure he's using his 8th string on this to achieve these low. Down to the G minor. B flat, work our way back up. Great use of the drum fills thematically. Highlighting the major note. There's something pained about that. Like it's almost like a ray of hope that instantly fades. So the chord progression in the chorus, fairly simple but so effective. That drop down to the G minor just gives me pure chills. Drum fills, and then we get the A major over the D. Down to that G minor, and work our way up to the B flat, back to the D minor. I love the sort of unrelenting repetitiveness in this song that, you know, IHSAHN's style has changed so much throughout the years. I mean, he's really crafted this completely unique. I mean, IHSAHN really is one of my top artists of all time. I could wax lyrical just about IHSAHN, never mind talk about one of his songs. I could just, you know, just turn this into like a complete gush fest because the guy is a genius, let's be honest. But his style has changed so much. I will probably go back into some of the earlier stuff because I really would like to do some of the Emperor songs and even the earlier stuff, which is closer related to Emperor, lots of the fast blast beats and stuff like that. But this is, and all those intricate guitar parts, you know, and harmonies and counter melodies and counter melodies and really sophisticated, complex, almost classical sort of arrangements in a metal sort of genre. There's a brutal simplicity about this. It's very different from the majority of his other songs. So don't know if it's completely representative of his style, but if you're getting anything about this that clicks with you, definitely go and check his music. You will be pleasantly surprised. The guy knows what he's doing. The strings on the major, minor. You hear the B. The B doesn't belong in D minor, you see. Like, technically it can if you're talking about like a D melodic minor scale. When on the way up you raise the 6th and 7th notes, so the B flat would become a B natural. But typically the B B flat is integral to the D minor key signature because it's related to F major. So if we're thinking, we hear occasionally that pattern coming out on the B natural there. There, B. And there's a rising note in the piano while the guitars are coming down. Call that country motion, moving in opposite directions. But listen to the way the drums come in. So the hi-hat takes up the same sort of rhythm with the acoustic. We're on the 4th beat of the bar with the snare, which is unusual. 3, 4. You know, instead of 1, 2, with a 3, 2, 3, 4. I think by putting it on the 4, it just helps with the uneasiness. Unusual drumming. Listen to those long notes in the harmony. Harmonies in the vocals. Listen to those strings. Brutal, crushing. Right, we must go back because otherwise we're missing that verse. So. Right. So the music finds a new pattern back into the G minor, builds it up A minor. Flat. Now we're on the 3, yeah. Words are failing me right now. It's so brutal, dark. Unrelenting pulse inside. Come on. Strings, the tension. Keep waiting on Celestial. Get a bluesy note in there for Einar. This one. Yes. We hang on B flat, which is an unresolved ending. But interestingly to me, I don't know if it's an accident or not. Probably not. But whenever the B flat chord's ringing out, you know, the D, which is the root, the key of this piece, as we've talked about before, that's the main note that seems to cut through to me. So while we've got this sort of ambiguous end, on the piano, the way I've played that, at least the main note that I hear is the B flat. The way this has been played on the guitar, or I'm not sure exactly how it's been done, but it's the middle note of the chord, the D, which is the finite note in a way. Thematically, celestial violence, the pointlessness of life. That's the vibe I get. Could be completely wrong, but that's quite nihilistic. Hey. Listen to the D. That's what she said. Oh, hear those. Overhearing it, right? It's a key. Interesting. That chorus, man. IHSAHN's sort of screaming vocals. Absolute achingly beautiful. You know, beautiful. Might seem like a juxtaposition in a weird way to describe a sort of harsh vocal as beautiful, but that's painfully beautiful to me. Like, I love that mixed with the sort of emotional melodic vocals of Einar, kind of duet going on a wee bit, really, isn't it? Like, in that chorus, so complementary to one another. It's almost like this sort of symbolic feeling of that sort of constant sort of bam, 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 bam. It's a little bit metaphorical of the sort of relentlessness of life, and what's going on out there, should we say, and that sort of pain of IHSAHN's vocal associated with the crushing reality of everything, and then Einar sort of almost represents the humanity, you know, the emotional kind of thing that's going on. I haven't delved into the lyrics at all, but just musically, the choices and different things that are going thematically with the instrumentation, that's the kind of vibe I get alone from just the title and the emotional connotations of how the two vocalists set. They're achieving completely different styles, and how those styles sit within what's happening in their sort of constituent parts, whether it's in the verse or in the sort of chaotic, sort of downbeat chorus, you know, and then we get this sort of duet of conflict near the end. You know, it's masterful, like, you know, an incredible song. I remember it standing out to me on the album. You know, it's very rare that you get like simplicity that does its job really, really well, and I think that's something that IHSAHN's really finding with his sort of later works. Is, you know, he's done the most convoluted, sophisticated OTT in a way, you know, whether it's the drum parts, bass parts, layering of everything. You know, his music is kind of unachievable for most, you know, because it's really masterful in terms of the amount of ornamentation and everything that goes on, you know, layers upon layers upon layers. So he comes from that, and hearing him do something that's much more stripped back, he's managed to do it in a way that it's incredibly powerful. I guess it's probably to do with knowing, you know, if you've got 400 different colors on the wall at once, I guess maybe that's one way to achieve getting down to like 6 important ones or whatever. So hopefully you know what I mean. So thanks for watching, guys. If you did happen to enjoy this video, please do like and consider subscribing, and consider supporting me if you enjoy what I'm doing and want to support me in any way. Be cool if you wanted to head over to my Bandcamp page. The links are below in the description. Check out some of my music as well, because I do tend to touch on the progressive metal stuff as well. Do everything myself, so a little bit of a kindred spirit with IHSAHN, you know. I guess that's probably why he is a bit of an idol for me, you know. I don't use that word very often, so yeah, you might enjoy some of my stuff. Who knows? Statistically speaking, somebody's going to. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.